2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everything I understand compound interest. We done it also in grade 10.
Yes.
Only thing I don't understand is nominal and effective interest. I'm a little lost there. My teacher didn't explain to me as well.
Okay, but do you have a specific question where that is being used as the question itself?
Okay, you see. Okay, let me explain to you. You know when you're working out compound interest for like 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, you get that answer.
Uh-huh.
Then working out for the second year, you use the amount from the first year.
Yes.
For the second year.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the one time we did it in class. But the next time I went to class, we never used the amount that we had from the first year. We used the first amount that we had.
But you used the formula. But did you use a formula? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Let me show you quickly. If you, for instance, have, say, 1,000 rand, okay, and you work at 10%, then at the end of the first year or at the beginning of the second year, you'll get 10% of 1,000, which is 100, added to that. So now you'll have 1,100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you take another 10%, which will now give you 110 rand. Added to that will give you 1,210, and so forth and so forth. That process you understand.
Yeah, okay, but you see now, when it's the second year,
mm-hmm.
do you use the first amount?
No. I'm going to explain to you now. What I've done is I've used year by year by year. Okay? Which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, but what if you want to do something over 20 years? You don't want to sit there and do it 20 times over. So that's why we've got a formula for compound interest, which looks like this. Okay, do you recognize that formula?
Yeah.
Where that value of P is the initial amount, so that's 1,000. 1 plus R is the interest, so that's 10 over 100, to the power of N, where N is the number of years. So now we'll say we have worked this out for 2 years, so let's do this to the power of 2. And the answer that we'll get will be A, which will be the final amount. Okay?
Yeah.
So do you have a calculator there?
With me. No, not okay. Let me just get one.
Okay? Let me just show you what I've done. 1 plus 10 over 100 gives me 1,1.
Yeah.
Okay, to the power of 2. So what is 1,1 to the power of 2?
1,1 to the power. Okay, I don't have a scientific calculator, so
Okay, just say 1,1 times by 1,1.
1,1, yeah. Oh, 1,21.
Okay, times by 1,000.
1,210.
Okay, which is exactly what we got there.
Yeah.
After 2 years. So, the difference between working it out year by year and working it out with the formula is that if you have the formula, you can work it out over any number of years. That's why the N comes in. Any number of years. But then you will always use the very first amount for P. Whereas if you work it out year by year, you'll always use the previous amount. If you have to physically work it out year by year. You understand the difference between the two?
Yes.
Okay, now.
I understand.
Now the other thing that I just need to tell you, if we look at the fact that we've started with 1,000 and we ended up with 1,210, the annual interest rate was 10%. You agree with me?
100%, yeah.
Okay, but let's find out what percentage we had to take 1,000 to become 1,210. So we'll use the following formula. We'll say 1,000 times by x plus 100 over 100 is equal to 1,210. Alright, you still with me?
Yeah.
Where x is going to be the percentage that will take us directly from 1,000 to 1,210. Okay. So we divide both sides by 1,000 first. Alright, so it cancels that side. So what is 1,210 divided by 1,000?
Equals to 1,21.
Okay, 1,21. Then we multiply both sides by 100 to get rid of the fraction. So it cancels that side. So x plus 100 is going to be 121. Okay. And then we take the 100 across to get x alone. So 121 minus 100 is 21. Okay. Are you still with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what happens now is we say x is 21%. So effectively, to go from the initial amount, 1,000, straight to the 1,210 requires 21%. But we only work with 10% per year. So the 10% is the nominal interest rate, whereas the 21% is the effective interest rate. If I've got it right, I'm not quite sure. If I may have confused. You know, the name nominal and effective might be just the other way around. I can't quite remember as I'm talking to you right now, but that's what it means. The one is the annual or the yearly interest that you use.
But I don't know, our teacher.
Sorry, you're breaking up?
So let me just get a.
Okay.
Okay, now you know, from the 1,000 to the 1,210, it's 1%. But that's for like
no.
Like, there's no year. Like in 1 year, you're trying to say.
No. What I'm saying is, it could be
for 1 year to get from 1,000 to 1,200.
It could be that they give you the following. You could be given the following: 1,000, and then 10% per year gives you 1,100. Okay. Let's say you work at 10%. So you've got 1,000 with 10% gives you 1,100. Another 10% will give you 1,210. Another 10% will be 1,000. What's this now? 421, I think. Okay, and so on, and so on, and so on. You just keep on adding 10% every year. But let's say I want to get from there to there, one go. Then I need to work out the percentage using that formula.
But that will be for 1 year.
No. There's no years involved. When you're talking, let's say this is called the effective interest rate. Okay. If I get it right, if this is the effective interest rate, there are no years connected to it. There's only a year amount connected when you work with the nominal interest rate, not when you work with the effective interest rate. So you don't talk about effective interest rate when you talk about 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever. So what you need to remember is that formula there. That's the formula that you need to remember
that's formula.
To work out the effective interest rate, which is the X.
Okay.
Alright, you happy?
Yes, and
no, you go ahead.
I'm okay. Just okay.